The internet is an interesting place. When I was younger, the only thing that I would end up consuming was primarily funny content and maybe some internet drama here and there, which back then wasn't majorly serious. A lot of it was just random creators having beef with each other for literally no apparent reason, and half the time you didn't even know who the second creator was. At that point of time, I really enjoyed just spending a lot of my time online. Whether that was playing games or consuming YouTube content or other random sites online, I was there for it. Recently, Jacksepticeye made a video discussing this general topic, and I wanted to add some perspective as someone who, as of January 2023, through to just last month, was doing YouTube as my full-time job, and as a small creator, I just wanted to kind of give my input on this. So let's talk about why I hate being online as a small creator and a human being. Growing up, the thing I wanted to do was make videos. I made videos as a kid, the youngest versions of myself on this platform. To some degree, I don't believe all of them are even available now, but the youngest I was 9. Me and my friend Jake would end up playing Halo 3, recording with an iPad stacked on top of a load of books. The gameplay was hardly even visible and the frame rate was so just awful, probably like 15 or less. Due to being more of a lonely kid growing up, I did have friends, but I generally kept to myself. I found myself really enjoying making videos as a result, and also it led to me just finding it more easy to talk to a camera than it is to talk to a random stranger. After many channels, many videos, I eventually made my gaming channel. The main one that anyone who's watching this video probably knows of Exiled. This channel was designed to allow me to override my perfectionistic mindset, which led to me hating games for quite a few years, finding everything I was playing as just a waste of time, and I needed to be doing something to progress myself as a person or increase my bank balance. After having done the thing, or at least to an extent anyway, I feel as if I can at least talk about this to a degree about some of the issues and give a genuine background into what it's like to be a quote-unquote small creator. When you do this as a job, or even starting off, YouTube loves to make your mental health go down the drain. All of this is for the idea of hyper-optimization of videos so that more people will watch, more people will keep watching, and therefore YouTube and yourself will earn more money. What I mean by this is that when you start making content on YouTube, you might do it for one of two primary reasons. When I was a kid, I just simply enjoyed making content. I also know that to a degree, I did want to do it because, you know, the money. I do believe that inherently it's not a bad thing to admit that. However, it is bad if that is your primary motivation for doing the thing. When you start gaining any form of traction on this site, however, your mind does start to get warped. This might lead to some becoming audience captured and only making content that their audience will watch, even if they don't enjoy making it. Which is genuinely a high percentage of the creator space right now anyway. A lot of people that I know, even if they aren't blatantly actually saying it, they have said things that very much go along the train of thought that is, I have been audience captured, I just don't really want to say it. Then you also run into the dreaded 1 out of 10 system. Add all of this together with tons of trackable metrics that show you how you can improve your videos, it becomes something that is kind of daunting on many creators and makes them feel as if they're not doing enough as it is. You can always optimize your videos. Not because you want to genuinely make better videos that you enjoy, but because you want YouTube to push you out even more, to show you off to more people and get you more views. My hot take of my entire life, most likely, especially based on what people say about this topic, and I know I'm going to get some backlash most likely for saying this, and again, as someone who has gone back into working a job, I was doing this for almost 2 years full time. I do believe I can say this, which is that I do believe that a lot of the creator space, on their own as well, but also from others, is held captive by the concept of victim blaming. You'll end up seeing memes online very easily that talks about content creators and how supposedly it's incredibly easy. You'll see all the comments as well that actually, if you read a lot of them, they aren't just like joking, they genuinely don't like how some creators can make money really easily off of supposedly doing nothing. Now I do believe one of the biggest reasons why this is viewed this way is because YouTube is an incredibly low barrier to entry, an incredibly easy thing to get into. However, no YouTubers at all really tell you what it's like to be a creator, because if they do, they end up typically just getting a load of negative opinions. They will be told to stop whining from their place of privilege and basically to just shut up. The content creator space is very similar to something like gambling, crypto, or even day trading spaces, where you're going to see almost every single one of the winners, but you very rarely see any of the losers. And even with that, the quote-unquote winners never really are winning. They might become millionaires, maybe. A tiny percentile of the creators may become millionaires. But this is generally a societal issue, as people do typically seem to value this idea that you can feel less pain and you can tolerate more harsher critiques of yourself if you make more money, or if you are just making money in a way that society does view as a easy thing. That though is for a different video, not this one. The gaming space has also changed a lot when it comes to the internet. Whether it's the increase in how sweaty players are nowadays, toxicity in almost every corner of the discussion about any game, or just how chronically online the world feels it has become, whether or not it's meshing things in with politics that seem to have a stranglehold over every single area of life. Maybe this is a perception issue, but the internet has certainly made more people aware of political issues, and it has certainly found its way into the gaming space. The gaming space, I wouldn't say though, has become more toxic generally speaking, especially in the way that we communicate. If anything, I would say it's got a bit softer, and a lot of people, will either refer to it as being soft or, just being respectful. However, there is one particular platform that I do believe has made the gaming space particularly worse, and the discussion around games worse, which is this one. YouTube itself as a platform is heavily negative when it comes to a lot of games. I will admit that I have played my part in that as well. This doesn't mean that I don't recognise the issues within the gaming space, as I still stand by many of the videos that I've made criticising the gaming space in particular. However, there are many YouTubers who solely make rage bait content out there, or the majority of their content is simply being negative, focusing on all the tiny little details that need to be torn apart because, why not? It makes them money, it makes them get more views. And rarely do any of these creators genuinely want to give proper praise to any of these companies when they've done just a decent job. Online, this has bred a culture of complete negativity. So many people are cynical about the future of gaming and rarely want to see a game succeed, and you'll see so many companies that are literally having people preying on their downfall. It's made the online gaming content space, generally speaking, something I don't want to consume. I rarely like going on YouTube and watching gaming content anymore, as so much of it is just presented in a way that is entirely negative. Which is hence why, for myself anyway, I have been making more content that's trying to focus more on the positive and taking things away from games that isn't all about the technical aspects. Then you have other sites, which many of you are probably going to relate to this idea that I'm about to say. You open up Instagram and you just watch a video of some puppy being fed some treats, and the top comment will be not even in the top 10 most liked, but for some reason it's the top comment, and most likely it's because it's the most engaged with comment, and you just open the responses and it's just more and more progressively hateful and just becomes so much more toxic that it just makes looking at comment sections awful. And typically, it ends up just becoming a massive shitposting match, where eventually you see every single political opinion across the board, and then you think to yourself, was I not just watching a video about a puppy being fed? Why have we got on to random, things related to politics that have nothing to do with this topic? All of this leads me to anxiety, and the lack of humanity. Like said by Jacksepticeye and others, I also have an anxiety issue when I'm using the internet. So much so that I rarely allow myself on specific websites, like Twitter, or when I'm on YouTube, I specifically try and stay away from as much political content as possible. There is other stuff as well, but the issue for me ends up stemming from this issue of anxiety. Maybe it's the case that that's spiking all my cortisol levels, even though they're kind of intertwined very, very easily. But generally speaking, the monkey brain just gets overridden by highly complex, thought-out systems that is YouTube's algorithm. It is TikTok's algorithm. These things override the monkey brain and just make you see things and see comments and all these things that do nothing more than enrage you. Or if they don't enrage you, they just make you feel on edge for no particular reason. The two big reasons I hate being online as a small creator and as a human being are the lack of humanity and the way that we actually communicate with each other, and the other is the way that it affects our mental health. The first one is an issue that I'm fairly certain we're all aware of. Everyone seems to treat every single person, no matter the size, no matter what, as just this other person that they can talk absolute shit to without zero repercussions. And one of the other things is that everyone believes that their opinion matters, that they think as if they need to say the thing, and it doesn't matter how they put it across, the other person on the other end of the screen isn't their friend, isn't a family member, or even a person stood in front of them, so they can word it however they wish. Many creators do what I'm about to say, and I do this in particular, which is I rarely look at my comment section. And it's taken over 2 years of doing this channel full time, and even longer of making YouTube content to not allow myself to have a random person who I have zero clue of who they are and take their opinion seriously on me. If you try and take their opinion seriously, it's going to do nothing more than affect you, and it isn't great. It doesn't help that with YouTube they show you the first top 3 comments most recently posted, and you're probably going to have at least one of those 3 be some form of negativity that's just going to ruin your day in some way. To end off this discussion, I wanted to talk about what we can do as people, but also I want to give a small bit of advice to aspiring creators out there. When it comes to what people can do, I do simply think that when you actually start commenting something, just ask yourself a real quick question before you hit enter. Do you actually care? If the answer is no, just stop. If you actually genuinely do care, then ask yourself if you're being brutally honest because you actually have something to say, or because you have no other better way of wording it that doesn't come across like you're just being an asshole. Just think about the fact that when you're online, you are way more easily irritated, and therefore you just end up trying to bring that onto others as well, and it just makes other people's days worse and all these things. It's something that I find really interesting. It's just kind of a constant spiral, constant loop. But yeah, just think a little bit. Before you hit that enter button when you're putting a comment in, just think to yourself, do I actually care? And in the next 20 minutes, in the next 2 days, am I even going to remember I commented this? For people who are aspiring to be content creators, my advice to you is just to do what you actually want. Make what you want to make. Don't make what you think other people are going to like, but you don't really care about. Just focus on your own thing. If you enjoy it, that's enough. Don't let yourself become audience captured. If one thing works, it doesn't mean you need to keep recreating that one thing because you need to chase the ever-climbing mountain of views. The biggest thing for aspiring creators is that you need to realize that it's not all sunshine and rainbows. If you've ever worked for yourself, then you'll be dealing with this issue around income, your mental health, and how both of them are so intertwined. Your physical health is also incredibly important, and it's rarely something spoken about within the creator space. Over the last 2 years, I gained 20 kilos of weight. I can't run a 5k anymore, and if I try to, I can't even make it past the first kilometer without my entire calves cramping up. My forearms have got far worse due to having written over 2,000 words of video essay content, and honestly, I wouldn't recommend doing this if you believe that simply putting hard work in is going to be giving you the results possible to make it on YouTube. When the reality is, and one that many don't want to admit, is that luck does play a big role in the way that videos perform. Yes, you can be there at the right time, at the right place, and have a really great video, but there's always something we can't predict. And that thing is how the algorithm is going to pick up your content. I just want to focus on making our own corners of the internet far better. Hopefully you found something of value from this video, and I will see you in the next one.